When this was starting, I remember going up to my record label and I said, I've learned to be comfortable being in a room full of people that don't look like me, and now it's your turn to learn to be comfortable in a room of people that don't look like you.
Come on, sis. 4-time Grammy nominee. The 2022 Time Breakthrough Artist of the Year. Recently released her female anthem, Woman, honoring women all around the world with an ode to women empowerment. Make some noise for that, too. With Remember Her Name, Mickey made history as the first Black artist to earn a Grammy nomination for Best Country Album. The title track, Remember Her Name, also landed Mickey with Grammy nominations for Best Country Song, Best Country Solo Performance. This followed Mickey's groundbreaking Grammy nominations as the first ever Black female solo artist to earn a nod in the country category for Black Like Me. Black Like Me was named one of the top 10 songs of all genres in 2020 by the NPR, Billboard, and Associated Press. She also co-hosted the 56th Academy of Country Music Awards on CBS along with Keith Urban, and she was named CMT's 2021 Breakthrough Artist of the Year. Mickey and her music have been featured on the covers of Billboard, profiled in New Yorker, the New York Times, Rolling Stone. Over the last year, she has been featured in American Songwriter, BBC News, CBS, Sherry, Sesame Street, Hits, Essence, People, all kind of shit. Make some noise for the superstar herself, y'all, Miss Mickey Guyton. And one thing that we would never forget was that Super Bowl performance. To see you there and to see you show up the way you showed up, you made us all extremely proud. Extremely proud. Let's get into this conversation, Mickey.
All right.
First and foremost, how long have you been singing?
Man, I've been singing since I was 8 years old. You know, it all started in the church for most of us. My dad was a deacon, my mom was a deaconess. So I was a church kid, and that's where I spent a lot of my time, and that's when I learned to sing.
And when did music, speak to you? Or when did you know you can use music as a vehicle to speak to others?
You know, it's so funny. I heard Whitney Houston sing the national anthem, and that was the first time where I was like, wow, I want to do that. And then I remember my church, I grew up in Waco, Texas, and so we drove to Arlington, Texas to see a Texas Rangers baseball game. And this country singer at the time, who was 10, LeAnn Rimes was singing the national anthem. And again, I don't know why the national anthem was the thing that made me want to be a singer. And then getting to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl, it's crazy, but that's kind of where it started for me.
Interesting. I want to go back for a second. 1968, I think, James Brown, the height of the civil rights movement, James Brown releases this song called Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. And I remember the first time hearing that record, what it did for me, right? It was this sort of dual emotion I had. It was one of pride, of heritage and culture, but there was also this sort of tapping into this level of resilience that had to show up in Black America time and time again. Let's fast forward to 2020, June 2nd. You release Black Like Me. Why?
I wrote Black Like Me in 2018. I've been pursuing country music for a very, very long time, and I kept just hitting this wall. You know, I would send in songs, and everybody was like, well, this, you need to sound really, really, really country. While I was hearing a lot of trap beats and country songs and guys wearing Timberlands and backward baseball caps, but they were saying that to me, and that was really hard. So, which is funny, it's called 3 Chords and the Truth. My husband, one day I was asking him why country music wasn't working for me, and he said, because you're running away from everything that makes you different. And up until 2018, I was trying to just fit into what everybody was telling me country music was. And after he told me that, it hit me. I was like, wow, have I really been doing that? And I really, really was. So, that week I wrote a song called Black Like Me, and I wrote a song called Love My Hair that I sang with two other black women at the CMAs in 2021. And I wrote Black Like Me because that was my experience, but I never thought it was ever going to come out. And then in 2020, after we saw Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, I just put the song on my Instagram. I didn't say anything. I just put the chorus up there and went to sleep. And then that Sunday, people were calling me, asking me for that song. Like Spotify wanted to feature the song. And I said, well, I have the song. And so we put it out, and it just changed my life. But I didn't write it for that, but it just was there at the very right moment.
That's powerful, and that's the power of music. That's when I discovered you. The Black Like Me record comes out. We knee deep in the greatest call for racial justice this nation ever experienced. And this record comes on. And I remember feeling the same way I felt when I first heard Say It Loud. It gave me that, because you walked us through the story, but then you ended with, but I'm proud to be. In spite of chattel slavery, in spite of Jim Crow, in spite of LAPD, in spite of it, I'm still proud to be black like me. Another record that you wrote that inspired me, that same year I discovered, my wife was pregnant with my daughter now, who's 4. And I discovered this record from you called What Will You Tell Her?
What are you going to tell her?
Can you speak to us a little bit about that record, how important that record is to you, and why did you write that record?
Well, I've been in Nashville for a very long time, and first of all, welcome everybody to country music.
Come on, somebody.
That y'all are finally here. We have been fighting and really working so hard to bring people, to make them realize that black people are country music. We've been working on this for years. Like, I know y'all are here now, but this was before 2020. Like, we've been working so hard, so I'm trying not to cry seeing all y'all here and seeing the hard work that we've done.
Let me tell you something, Mickey. First and foremost, this is why we did this event. When we first did 3 Chords and the Actual Truth in New York, I reached out to you first because we recognized the fight. And we wanted to bring the conversation outside of Nashville. We felt that you all have been banging on those doors. Y'all have been, thank y'all for that. And so we wanted to make sure that this conversation happens in rooms that might not heard this kind of conversation before. Yes. And sis done went into the deep end of the pool. I was trying to keep it light and work my way in. But since she done opened it up, let's talk about it. Yeah. Because if we don't take this moment and turn it into a movement, we let us all down. So can we talk about that? How important is it for us to hold this and go all the way this time?
I mean, again, with the song, What Are You Gonna Tell Her? I was singing these songs about the oppression of women because I've seen it for so long. Every woman in this room, every black woman in this room, whatever race you are in this room, we've all experienced oppression in a really bad way. I'm sure many of us have Me Too stories that we don't even want to talk about. And I wrote a song about it because I was watching so many people that I love in country music, white or black, that were struggling. So I wrote a song about oppression of women, and it meant something to me. And now back to country music and you guys here, like, we've been here before. We've been here before 2020, before 2017 when we were starting the diversity task force at the ACMs and trying to figure out how to bring country music and to black people and people of color. And again, like we were saying when we started this conversation, they're shuttering the doors. They're shutting the doors on DEI. Like, people are tired of talking about it. The Netflix and the Hulus, they're tired of putting out shows that are supporting, black art. And if we don't talk about this and be intentional with our consumerism, we're done. Like, we are actually done.
When you say intentional, let's break that down. Let's unpack that for the room. How intentional do we need to be at this moment right now?
We need to be extremely intentional, and we have to show these major corporations, the the monetary value in Black art. That's right. Because if they don't see the monetary value, like, they're not going to support us and put us on platforms that we so desperately need. And for instance, you guys are here, and I see the cowboy hats and the boots and the spurs and all that kind of stuff since Beyonce got here. And there's all these artists that y'all are discovering that are in Black country, in this genre. And if every single Beyonce fan would stream our song one time.
Talk about it.
Just once, every single day. You don't even have to listen to it. But if you just stream it one time. I live in a predominantly white neighborhood in Nashville. And my Black neighbor, I saw that he has a lawn service, and I had this company that was doing my lawn service. I canceled my other company that was mowing my lawn, and I started supporting my neighbor, Lamont. Willie Jones. I ran into Willie Jones at the airport yesterday, flying here to California. And there's a Black-owned pizza joint at the airport in Nashville called Slim and Huskies.
That's
and
right.
Willie was like, let's go to Slim and Huskies. It's Black-owned. All right. Like, this is what I mean by intentional consumerism. And that means in the film and television world as well. Like, you have to show these major corporations the monetary value in Black art. And if you don't do it, it's done. Like, when this Beyonce moment is done and all of our country fans are done with their boots and spurs, these Black country artists that you're seeing and liking their posts, we will still remain. We're still in predominantly white spaces. I'm still the only Black person in a lot of predominantly white spaces, like on boards, on actual boards, trying to help make decisions and be at fundraisers. I'm still the only Black person there. So it's so imperative that every single one of you, Black, white, whatever, show these corporations the monetary value in Black art.
That is extremely key. And what I love about that, Mickey and I had a conversation last night, and that part struck to me the most because everyone in this room can do that. See, it put the responsibility back on you. As we talk about changing systems and changing policies, there's also a question about what can we do? What can everyone in this room do when we leave here to ensure that this is not just a moment? Let me ask you this, Mickey. You have a new single just released, Woman, right? And powerful anthem, very, very powerful anthem. But this is not your first time creating music around female empowerment. And I know you touched on it a little bit before, but I had discovered another record, I think, that came out in 2017 called Sister. And I just thought that was the flyest, cutest sort of, sisterhood. One line in there, it was like, I'm your hell yeah to your no. Yes. You've been hearing no's all your life.
I'll be your hell yeah when all you've ever heard was no.
Come on. And I thought, wow, what's important about Mickey is that she ain't just get to the party. No. You see, she didn't just get here. She's been fighting. Before BMAC came into Nashville in 2020 or 2021, there have been voices, there have been activists, there have been movements that have been trying to shake it down. But what we're saying right here is now that we have this little window, if we don't do what we need to do, it would be nothing more than that shot of Novocaine. And when that wears off, the pain shows back up. So everyone leave out of here, you're going to do what? And why is that important?
Show up to the shows.
Let's talk
show
about
up to their shows.
Let's talk about the live performance aspect. Because for many, as you know, there has been a disconnect sometimes between country music festivals and shows and the Black audience. Not feeling safe, not feeling welcomed. And so it's perceived that we don't exist, that the audience don't exist because we're not willing to be subjected to some of the...
And I get it. I understand. I 100% understand.
So as we continue, are you seeing changes in that space on the live side, Mickey?
When this movement first happened in 2020, I was seeing change and we were allowing ourselves to have hope. And, it's 2024 now. And like, I'm so grateful for Beyonce because before that, it felt like it was weaning. Yeah. Not felt like it was. It was. And, even now, sometimes I still feel, viral moments last like 2 weeks, and then we're on to the next. And that's what it feels like, and people don't realize that these artists, like so many of these artists that were featured on Beyonce's record had just lost their record deals.
One of them to the same label that she signed to.
Mm-hmm. And this is what we're saying. Like, and they got major record deals, and they were so excited, and then they lost them. And this is the one thing that they have. But again, like, I've seen these viral moments happen. There's a group called Chapel Heart that had this major viral moment on America's Got Talent. And they're a super fun Black female country trio. And they could not get a record deal in Nashville. And I can even tell you right now, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's, again, why I will drill this in everybody's mind, or I'm going to at least try to do that. We must show the monetary value in Black art. Like, that's really what it boils down to.
Let me ask you this, Mickey, and I thank you for your level of honesty that you're displaying right now. But, I think this room needs to understand a little bit and I don't want to harp on the pain, because be clear, we are in our blood is resilience, right? So there's nothing victimized. We don't play that game here, right? But I do want this room to understand the fight that you have and that you up against and that you have been swinging, because they need to understand what you've been out there doing so they can connect to that energy. What are some of the experiences that you have had that this room need to be aware of, and you still wake up and say, I'm proud to be Black?
Yeah, I've been advocating for Black people in Nashville behind the scenes, at Universal Nashville. I've made great relationships with some of the heads of the companies that are now. You walk into that record label, and there are quite a few Black people that work at this country record label. And that was just me just introducing people, connecting. I don't want the money. I don't need the money. Just like put us in these rooms so people can see themselves here. But, speaking out and calling out racism, it does come with a price. And I'm still healing from a lot of things that were said to me when I was just trying to fight for equality in country music. Nothing more, nothing less. I wasn't telling you who to vote for. I wasn't telling you anything other than just give people an opportunity, not because of anything more, but because they're talented and they deserve the same chances. And that comes with a price. And people said horrible things to me. Like, up until before I was about to give birth to my son, I was cyberbullied, and it was really bad. And the things that people were saying to me still, mentally, fuck with my head, to be perfectly honest. And I have to stay off of social media and just still continue to do the work and try to show people, like, hey, we're here. I started on my little Instagram when I had probably 30,000 followers. I started doing this thing called Country Music Also Looks Like This. And I was showing people, and all the people that were following me are industry people that were running in there and just wanting to do something to change the landscape of this industry and write with these artists. And that was beautiful. That was great. But here we are in 2024. And y'all are just now finding out that I'm here and that we're here.
Yeah.
And I it's not your fault by any means. It's, Nashville has been wanting to bridge the gap. And I know a lot of artists that want to see Black people at their shows, but they don't know how. And Nashville doesn't necessarily know how. They don't know how to extend the arm or extend the olive branch and be like, hey, we're here, come here. That was the thing. When this was starting, I remember going up to my record label and I said, I've learned to be comfortable being in a room full of people that don't look like me, and now it's your turn to learn to be comfortable in a room of people that don't look like you.
Come on, sis. Wow. Wow. Wow.
So we're trying. Y'all, this is like new. Like, this is a new landscape. We may not see the true change that we want to see in our lifetime, but this right here gives me so much hope.
Man, do you understand that this woman was born with a gift to sing? No one, like, this idea of activism, I want y'all to understand this. Like, Karen said this earlier, I think, when we would, our goal with BMAC is to be non-existent. Like, you think people want to wake up and spend their time trying to fight for equality? That's not, no. This woman can be selling tens of millions of records, making hundreds of millions of dollars, but she's sacrificing that, or it's being sacrificed, so she can fight for equality. This is what we are dealing with right now. And I wanted you to touch on one thing before we end this. As an artist, what responsibility do you feel artists have with their platform to push the needle forward, to push this country forward, to push the idea of equality forward? We've watched artists sort of show up in every sector, in every decade of fighting for equality since we got here. The singer, the artist, the creative community have always created those soundtracks and painted the picture. As you move now, what responsibility do you feel artists have in using their platform in the way that you are?
Listen, it is, that's the Lord's work. It is hard. We are hard. But what I do in my personal life is, and in my artistry, is if I see someone that I think is talented, I am going to call anybody that I know and say, sign this person. For example, Warren Treaty. Warren Treaty is now signed to my record label. Cindy.
Come on.
Cindy found them through me. And I know y'all know Miss Tanya Trotter was like his eyes on the sparrow on Sister Act. Like, that woman is everything to me. And like, that is how you see real change, is using your platform to help someone else. We're so in this, like, there's only one spot for wherever we are. Sorry, I can't speak right now. I'm so emotional. But, like, whatever is for you is for you. Like, you giving somebody else a platform isn't going to take away from you. If anything, it's going to make you look better.
That's right.
It's like that tweet I sent you from Cam.
Absolutely.
And it's true. Like, surround yourself with other Black women. That's what I did. And maybe I got burned sometimes, but it's real. Yes. It's hard, y'all. It is hard. It hurts. It hurts when you're just trying to help people get their opportunities. And it's so important for you to protect each other in this world. Like, still, we're all still, I'm pretty sure, in predominantly white spaces. Like, I'm guessing, I don't know.
Your guess is right.
But I'm pretty sure that we are. And like, for me, in country music, I see these people like Willie Jones and Brittany Spencer and Raina Roberts and Tanner Adele, and I think to myself, they're out here by themselves. Like, they don't really understand how hard this music industry is. So it's just being there for him and showing them that, like, I've got you and you're not alone in this world. Like, the Black nod that we do, like, we need to do all the time in every single space that we're in, just to make sure that we're okay.
Mickey, thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Mickey, thank you. This was incredible. Was it incredible, y'all?
Thank you.
Was it honest? Was it raw?